Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us, we cannot contain.
What's going on, YouTube? James Prigioni coming to you live from Jersey. It's July 30th. I wanted to bring you guys along for a food forest update, to show you the progression of it, and I also had some things in my mind that I wanted to talk about and share, things that I learned throughout the year. One thing that I wanted to right off the bat say is you guys want to get the mulch down and the fruit trees in. That's like Act 1, Scene 1 right there. You got to get the mulch down and the fruit trees in, but you need to get the best fruit trees that you could get, purchase, or however you're going to get them. The best quality fruit trees and the varieties that you want, the best varieties. You want to do that. You want to get those in the best possible locations as early as possible. That's number one, because the fruit trees are what are going to be supporting you for years. You know, you got a nice pear tree in there, it can last for 80 years. Some apple trees, 40, 50 years or something like that. So you really want to get those in first, and you want to get them in the best locations. You can grow vegetables anywhere, and especially annuals and stuff, but you want to get the fruit trees in and then move over next to the perennials and the bushes and things like that. Another thing I want to talk about, guys, is a mentality, kind of mentality we have when we're gardening. And I think it's also applicable to almost all areas of life. So I think we get into situations where we have some form of success, if that's what you want to call it, or things go well. And then people want to learn from what you kind of success you've had. And I think that's a great area for people to teach in, because if they've done it, they have the experience, they have the wisdom, because they've gone through it, they know what to do. The experiential knowledge is very powerful, and it's a great thing to share. The only thing with that is, oftentimes we can get into a situation where we have a success and we begin maybe teaching others or showing others how our success came about in form of gardening or in any area of life. But the danger is when we take on the role of a teacher and no longer take on the role of a student. So what I'm really trying to say is that we got to make sure that we are students and teachers. We're not just students. We can't get into one mindset of just teaching but never learning, because if we're in this mindset of only teaching people, we're never going to learn anything more than we know. This form of gardening is working for me right now, because it's mimicked after nature, but I still have to keep an open mind that there are changes that can be made to improve the system, and that's with all areas of life. So just because we have success in for a short period of time or in one area, we can't close our minds to learning, because I believe we'll only be given more truth if we're faithful with the truth that we have, but we also have an open mind to hear. It's turned into a tomato jungle in here, guys. It really has. There's tomatoes everywhere. A lot of them are ripening up now that we've had some hot days, and we've been coming out and picking as many as we can eat, really. Grabbing extras. Here's a nice one. Pop that one in. And I don't need to wash. I can eat this right now. I don't have to wash it or anything, because there are no pesticides, there are no herbicides, there are no fungicides. This is natural, right off the plant. Not washing off any of the good beneficial bacteria or the enzymes that are on the outside of it. This is the way to live and the way to eat, guys. Some nice big ones. Look at those tomatoes sitting right underneath that Honeycrisp apple tree. Beautiful symbiotic relationship. And of course we got our workers, bees, worms. Some of the grapes in here, guys, are starting to ripen up. I can tell they're getting almost this translucent looking color. Some of them are actually pinking up over here. Some of them dropping off, but still the majority are doing well. Some more hanging right through. We cut a hole in the fence for me and my neighbors so we could kind of, talk without looking over the fence and share some of the stuff. And there's a nice thing of grapes growing right over there for them. More grapes down here, but even though they're not completely ripe yet, I had one before and they're delicious. Wow, really good. Here's this tree here, look at this. we're getting fruit off this tree this year, which is just beautiful because we haven't really gotten good fruit off it for years. It wasn't taken care of and went a little wild, so me and my brother basically had to come through and do some heavy pruning and just take care of it. Rip out all the grass underneath. Not rip it out, cover all the grass underneath with a thick layer of wood chips and just bring this back to health. And it really has stepped up and come back a lot. But not only is this being used for, not only are we getting fruit from it, we're also using this as a trellis, and it seems to be working out beautifully. We got cucumbers growing up it, beans in the back, tomatoes in here. Another aspect of permaculture is multifunctionality, which is working here. And I harvested the beans today, but they're everywhere. I'm sure you guys grow the pole beans, and they're very vigorous. And another thing, guys, that was just a realization for me, or epiphany, a revelation, whatever you want to call it. One of those things that you know, but all of a sudden it hits you and it just makes a lot of sense. So that's what happened for me, and it was just, I was thinking about the garden and stuff, and just spending a lot of time out here thinking about how a forest grows and how I can mimic this really after a natural forest, because that's really the goal. To learn from nature, not to fight against it. Nature's perfect. So all I want to do is align with the way it works. Use that to my advantage and be a steward and help support it so it will support me. Really a mutual benefit between the two of us. The natural world, which I am a part of because I am human. And the plant life, and also animal life. But what I realize is, if I want to grow a forest, I think you guys are getting it. What supports the forest, you know? How does the forest grow? Well, what supports the forest is the forest floor. So if I want to grow a food forest, I gotta build a forest floor. So that's when it was just like, I need to mulch, wood chips down. I need to mimic a forest floor so I can grow a successful forest. That might sound really simple to you, but to me it was just all of a sudden, wow, you know, that's what I need. That's what I needed. That's what pushed me over the edge to really get all this mulch down. Because last year I didn't use as much mulch, and I was focused more on using living mulch rather than realizing that I need that organic matter at the base. I need that foundation. So we didn't think we were gonna get raspberries this year, but God has blessed us with, looks like, a good amount of raspberries. We got another worker there hanging out, and there's plenty more raspberries coming down here. A lot of them look like they have a good amount of fruit on them. Some of them are just still flowering, but we're looking like we should get this raspberry harvest. Again, these raspberries were just raspberry plants that my neighbor had, and they were growing out of his little box, and they were shooting up into his lawn, so he pulled them out and gave them over to us, which was great. I'll be doing the same thing for others in the future, sharing the raspberries and sharing the strawberries and stuff. So I hope this got you guys thinking just a little bit. Maybe you heard something that you can glean something from. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. I enjoy doing this, and I enjoy gardening and being out here. There's a peace that comes along with it. There's a sense of freedom, and there's just a incredible amount of respect you grow. I like to say that I grew with the garden as a person, and most people will say that after they do gardening. So I'm thankful for the opportunities, and I'm thankful for you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for following along. James Pigioni is out.